So you lost all your bees this past winter. So what does that mean? That means you now have one of the best swarm traps available. A better swarm trap than actually building a swarm trap. And no, you don't need to hang them in a tree. Yes, that helps sometimes. Depends on the bees. But what I have here is a dead out. It's been cleaned out. All the honey's been removed. And I checkerboarded blank frames with foundation frames. And I think I even got a full frame of comb in there, brood comb. This box here has bee trap written all over it. So if you did lose your bees and you ain't got the money or don't want to go out and buy more bees, get your hives cleaned out and get them ready to go. You leave them in the, leave them right where they were. I have seen more swarms take up residence in empty beehives than I've actually seen swarms take up residence in swarm traps hung in trees. A lot of people have caught swarms by accident, by just not, leaving their hive out, not doing nothing with it. And next thing you know, they got a full colony inside their beehive. They didn't even plan it. This was a double for the winter. It went in strong. Come January 2025, we lost them. Still had a lot of honey in it. So we got all the honey out because you do not want to leave any type of food source in your swarm traps. Do not leave any honey. Do not leave any sugar. You just want, either blank frames or foundation frames with wax. No food whatsoever because you'll have every bug, every bee in the block taking up residence, including ants. So some of these frames were honey frames that I had cleaned up the best I could after extracting. I'm going to check it, periodically every 2 weeks to make sure we don't have a problem inside with insects. If we do, we can just sweep them out, clean it up again. So if you do have some frames you put back in the hive that had some honey on them and you didn't get all the honey, and it will drip. It will drip down to the floor and crystallize. No big deal. If you get a swarm to move in right away, even the better because they'll clean that right up. But if the box sits for a while, you will have a problem with insects if you do not keep up on it. Okay, as far as the entrance goes on this, you're just going to want a deep box, deep 10-frame box, big enough, and you want the entrance reducer in, and you want the set to the smallest setting, the smallest entrance. That's it. Nothing bigger, nothing smaller. And, sit back and, let Mother Nature take its role. I'm in central New York. We're not going to see swarms here for 3 to 4 weeks. So it's March 31st, 2025. But I've already got reports that New York City, which is about 4 hours southeast, they're already collecting swarms in the 5 boroughs of New York City. They're already having calls for them. Their own bees are swarming. A lot of beekeepers in New York City, whether you know it or not. And they're already having to do splits. I know beekeepers in Pennsylvania, Philadelphia, that are already doing splits. So it's not going to be that long before central New York, northern New York, and the Northeast takes off here. We're just behind about 3 to 4 weeks. So this is the Langstroth hive. My Layens hive died out too, and I've got that set up, and we're going to go check that out next. So if you follow my channel, watch my videos, you know that my Layens hive died out. And you also notice, if you're a subscriber and you watch my videos, you'll notice that we have a new location for the Layens hive, which used to be right there. Yeah, that wasn't such a good idea. Took a lot of wind. There was no protection. I think these bees, I'll have to take blame on this hive here. Plenty of honey, lots of honey. Every frame had honey on it still. But yeah, lesson learned. Anyway, so now I've got this hive set up for a swarm, to catch a swarm. It's all ready to go. What I had to do, I've got a divider board all the way up to right about here. Sealed off from this side. I have all my honey stores over here on this side, capped honey. I do not even want to think about extracting any more honey. I've got more honey than I probably got 2 years worth of honey. I checkerboarded blanks with comb, because all the frames in there are foundationless, so they built comb on all the frames, but I still had honey on those frames, so I had to cut the honey out. I dropped the honey into a bucket and left the dry comb on the frame so they have something to start with, and I checkerboarded. Now, I cleaned the frames the best I could, and there is going to be some dripping of honey that's going to end up on the floor, and I'll come back in a week. Our temperatures are going to go down again. Right now we're at 65 degrees. We have a very powerful cold front coming in this afternoon, tonight. We'll be back into the 30s, possible snow showers in the forecast. So I'm not worried too much about the honey on the floor in there. I'll get to it. I'll open it up again in a week, and if I have to take the frames out and mop the floor, I will. No big deal. If it was around May, if we were a month later, I wouldn't worry about it too much, because we have a good chance of a swarm moving in here any day, unless we do a cutout before then. If we have to go out and do a cutout and we do get some bees, and we'll see how that goes, I might be able to drop some bees in here. I don't know yet, but right now it's set up for a swarm. I tried to make the entrance here. This is totally closed, because that's all my honey frames in there for resources. So we're not going to have a dearth this year, I guarantee it, because I've got more food than I need. I turned the disc down as far as I dared. I can't even get my finger in there, because when they swarm, they come with a queen. Most of the time they come with a queen, so I got to make sure the queen can get in there. I'll keep my eyes peeled, and check for activity here once we start getting steady temperatures in the 60s, 70s. I think I heard it was 81 degrees in New York City yesterday. We struggled to get above 50 here. We're rugged. We're rural, way up. We're north of the Hudson Valley. We're north of the Catskills, but south of the Adirondacks. And there is no paved roads in this neighborhood. It's all dirt roads and woods, and swamps. So plenty of bee habitat. I caught a swarm last year that came through this property, and I witnessed 2 more swarms come through, but I didn't catch them, which is probably a good thing, because I didn't have any more equipment. So that's it. That's setting up a Lane's hive for a swarm capture, and the Langstroth. Now, I do have another swarm trap that was made for a swarm trap, and we're going to get that hung up somewhere. I don't know where yet, and that's the one that caught a swarm last year. So we'll get that hung up somewhere too, and then I'll have to transport them back here. But it's probably going to be close to here anyway. It's not going to be far away. So, yeah. If you had your bees die out, you don't know what to do, you don't have money for a package or a nuke, get your hives ready to go for a possible, because let me tell you about the bees. If you had bees last year, if you think your bees were the only bees visiting your hives, you're mistaken. There was other bees from other colonies, whether they're feral or from your neighbor, coming to your hive. They might not have been getting in, but they were checking them out. So they already know where they are. If they made it through the winter and that particular colony decides to swarm, they'll say, hey, look, we were there last year. We know that, there's places for us to live over there. Let's go scout it out. So, yeah. Don't get discouraged if all your bees died. I know a lot of people in the country did very well this past winter, and of course, what you're hearing in the news is commercial beekeepers make the news. Backyard beekeepers don't make the news. But yeah, it was a hard winter. A lot of people did lose bees. I won't deny it. But as far as a colony collapse, I'm not buying it. Like I said, I know a lot of people who still have bees. So that's it for today. Thanks for watching.